All right, so gap down in the morning. First thing you want to look at, very first thing, what is the market doing? What did it do in the pre-market? Well, it gapped down. Here's your pre-market high. Here's your pre-market low. It gapped down and went down. That's pretty simple, right? So if that's the case, as we start to then get into the beginning of the day, we are, and you can look at the cycle indicator on the 5-minute charts all the way down here at the bottom, the RSI on the 5-minute charts all the way down at the bottom, the yellow dots on the 5-minute chart all the way at the bottom, the momentum indicator all the way at the bottom. Does everybody see everything is at the bottom on your anchor chart? So that's the first thing that if you're going to trade the morning, the first thing that you do is look at where we are. Where are we? We're gap down. And most likely on a gap down, there's usually either an attempt at a gap fill, a little fade the gap, maybe a little bounce. Whether that bounce is rejected or not, we are not concerned with yet because we trade shifts. So the first thing would be that move. And then if it does get rejected, then the second move will be that move. Is that clear? It should be. Not worried about whether it's going to reverse. Not worried about whether it's going to be, are we going to be in a trend day? Stop thinking that far ahead. You're trading minute by minute. So what you do is gap down. Now you may ask, to yourself, okay, I'm probably going to get a move to the upside as this thing is kind of oversold, going to scoop down here, boom, boom, go blue, squeeze, fire long, bang, break above the pre-market high. That once you're into that shift, you can ask yourselves, I wonder if price will get rejected. Well, if you looked at the VIX and if you looked at the dollar and if you looked at the yields, if you're a Masterclass member, you know what to look for. And we talk about it. You would have seen it and you would have said, uh-oh, we're going to get a reversal. And we did, right? So those of you that have Masterclass, you're welcome because you knew about that. You knew this was coming, right? Yes. But we're not concerned with that yet. Because if you're going to trade the open, what you're initially looking for is a little jiggy jig at around 940 or so, and then the reversal or shift from low to high. So this is a very unique moment in time, ladies and gentlemen. This is the open. So you must look at where you closed the day before, which would have been Friday, where you open in the pre-market on Monday. So that is the first thing that happens, right? If you're trading the 2 o'clock shift, you're going to look at what happened over the last, 20, 30 minutes, right? But that's it. This is the only time of day that you are looking at what happened. I shouldn't say the only time of day, but it is pretty much the only time of day where we look back to see how did we close in the previous trading session, the previous cash session. Right there. That was the close. And where are we opening today? Right here. That's called a gap down. Now, what happens sometimes, which did not happen here, is you gap down and immediately it does this in the pre-market. And the cycle indicator goes up, this goes up, and this all goes, blue. And then you're looking for a shift this way at 10 o'clock, right? This is really important to know. Did that happen? Did we get a gap down and then a surge higher in the pre-market, a little jig at 940, continuation, and then looking for a downside reversal at 10 o'clock, yes or no? Just put a Y or an N. Is this what happened? No, right? That is not what happened. Did we get a gap up where we would be looking for an initial move this way and then a reversal this way, or down quickly in the pre-market and then a move this way, or whichever way? We didn't get that either. No. So what we got was a gap down. Okay. So then the first question is, in the pre-market, did we just chop? Did we go up? Did we close the gap? Did we go lower? Right? And so you can see that as we opened, we kind of hit this level here as the pre-market high, and then went down to here in the pre-market low. And you can look at the cycle indicator on the 5-minute is down here. Extremely oversold in the pre-market's downward move. And then here it comes, boom, going from yellow to eventually blue when we open. This could not be more clear as to what you're looking for. So I'm hesitant to go on until we're all clear. What are we looking for? Okay, it's 9:40 now. The markets have been open for 10 minutes. And so the question I have for you right here, what are we looking for? Did you all, anyone that traded the morning at around 9:40, 9:50, what were you looking for? And if you weren't looking for something specific, then you're not playing the game. It's playing you. Yeah, potentially a gap fill, but yes. A reversal of the pre-market high. That is certainly something, blue sky, but not what I'm looking for. A pullback? Possibly, but that's not what I'm looking for. Shift around 9 a.m., you must be on a different time zone. Eastern would be 10, but I think, right? A breach of the pre-market high? Maybe, but that's not what I'm looking for, 74 fella. No. Crossover? No, that's not what I'm looking for. Okay, so this is why you guys are struggling. You can't answer the simple question of what you're looking for. You don't know what you're looking for. The market opens and starts to move, and you're all over the place. You don't know what you're even looking for. How can you take a trade if you don't know what you're looking for? So let me state it again. Well, you're not looking for a time of day because a time of day just happens. Let me show you again. This is Friday's close. Okay? Does everybody see that? You ask myself that every day. All right, so I'm going to give you the answer. And if you guys pay attention, you're going to have the answer to this question, and you're never going to have this concern again. At the open, you're going to know exactly what to do. Here it is. Right here is Friday's close. What happened this morning? What was the first thing that happened? Anybody? We gapped down. I did say anybody, so Michael's included, right? We gapped down. There it is. Okay, so a number of things can happen with a gap down. It can keep going in the pre-market and then reverse at the open. It could go up into the open and reverse at the open. It could go sideways and really nowhere, and then it could go either way. It could, right? So a lot of different things could happen in a gap down. So we wait and we watch the pre-market. So number one, what's number one? Number one is yesterday's close. Where was it? Number two, today's open. Where is it? Now, before we get to today's open, let's look at pre-market action. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. The pre-market action, right? So yesterday's, watch how beautiful this is. Hopefully this sinks in. I'm going to give you three things here. The pre-market action gives us what? Pre-market high and a pre-market low, right? And then what happens? Today's open, right? Isn't it a coincidence that the four levels drawn on your chart are what? Yesterday's close, pre-market high and low, and today's open. Ye old sandwich. That's right. That's the pre-market sandwich. So the first thing we want to see is, where did we close yesterday? Bang. Where do we open in the pre-market? Where's the pre-market open? Right here. And then what is the pre-market action? So we have the high and we have the low. And so here's the high. Boom, boom, boom. Look, so that's a little mini attempt at a gap fill. And oh my goodness, did it fill the gap, yes or no? Give me a Y or an N. Did it fill the gap, yes or no? You're damn right. Yeah, it did, right? So isn't this beautiful? Look at this beautiful red line right here. You see it? You want to see this red line right there, right there, right there? See it? See it? And you see it turn green right there, right there, right there. Right here is where it turns green. Why? Because price was below it, below it, below it. And as soon as price crosses above it, it turns green. That's called yesterday's close. This is yesterday's close. When price is below it, it's red. When price is above it, it's green. So you can see that when we opened in the pre-market, we gapped down, and then we attempted to fill that gap, and we just about got there. Not quite. And so let's just keep going here, right? Yesterday's close, pre-market open. We've got the pre-market high is made, pre-market low is made. It's 1, 2, right? And then what do we look for? So we look for some kind of direction or tone that exists. What is happening? What's happening, man? What's happening? Okay? Look closely here, because I'm going to draw it out. Yesterday's close, pre-market open. It makes a high. It makes a low. And then direction. What's the tone? What's the direction? What is happening? So I look as we get close to the market open, right? The market open, which is right about here, right? What happens? Price chops around and it gets lower, and then we're right about here. So right here for 5, 10, 15 minutes right here, like a little 15-minute look on the 5-minute chart, that's 3 bars. You ask, what's happening? And this is the perfect chart to look at. So does everybody see what's happening? We'll review it again. The cycle indicator is at the bottom and it's turning up. Does everybody get that? Does everybody understand? This is the bottom of the cycle. Check. The RSI is oversold at the bottom and working its way up. Does everybody understand that? Check. We got a sea of yellow dots. That is down. Right? Check. Momentum clearly also down and now starting to scoop up. Check. That is what's happening. Well, Farmer Rick, that is not actually correct. If you paid attention to what I just said right here, how many of you would agree or disagree with Farmer Rick that it's chop with no direction looking for a direction? How many of you would agree with him? Put a Y in. How many of you would disagree with him? Put a no in or an N. I get it. It's kind of choppy, but not a lot of people are agreeing with you, Farmer Rick. It's also to the downside. So yes, totally agree. That's chop. I mean, we literally open not that far away from where, we gapped down to. I get that. I understand that on price action. But remember, we gapped down, and by the end of the pre-market, we are at the bottom of the cycle moving higher. We are oversold moving higher. We are yellow dot looking for blue. We are low momentum moving higher. So what that means to me is the first or what I will tell you is what I am looking for. This is the answer to the question I asked earlier. I am looking for a shift to the upside. And I will wait for my setup. I will look and wait for my setup until it happens. I will confirm my setup. And then I will wait for the right entry, mark my exit if I should need one, and then execute. Take the damn trade. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video from Trade With Me Now. Make sure to go ahead and like this video and subscribe to our channel so you make sure that you catch our next video right when it's released. Also, if you have a question or comment, please leave that in the comment section below. And of course, if you want to learn more about Trade With Me Now or join our community of profitable traders, go to tradewithmenow.com. There's also a link in the description below.